My name is Bob Friedenthal. I've been doing these interviews for over a year and a half, and I've done something like 200 of them now, and I'm having a ball. So I'm very lucky to meet a very knowledge-based individual named Paul Levine. Paul, let's start with your credentials, name, phone number, email address, etc.
Everything, huh?
Yeah.
My name is Paul Levine. I am a commercial realtor. Before becoming a commercial realtor, I was a practicing certified public accountant for over 50 years. And in addition to that, I was also a university professor for 6.5 years. For those of you on the West Coast, I taught at California State University, Los Angeles. I have done audits. I have done IRS audits. I have dealt with everything there has been to deal with, including sitting across the table from 4 gentlemen from DuPont and negotiating the sale of one of my clients to them. Very few accountants can tell you that. My telephone number is 818-298-4000. My email address is plevinerealtor@gmail.com. And Levine is spelled L-E-V as in Victor, I-N-E. We're going to talk about the fact that today is the 2nd of February and it is tax season, folks. It's time to file your tax returns for 2022. The rules have changed and there are still some wonderful things that you can do, and you've got to be aware of them. But first, a couple of quickies. Number 1, do not use a tax preparer that you just send in your information to, and then they do your return and you've never met them before, because they don't know your situation. They didn't ask you all of the pertinent questions. They don't know your needs, wants, desires, and goals, and they can't help you get there. So, number 1, don't go to H&R Block. Also, if you do go to H&R Block, and I'm not totally knocking them, they do have a service for the elite tax returns, but they'll charge you $600 or $700 or $1,000 for it, when everybody thinks that you go into H&R Block and you get a tax return for $40. It isn't the case anymore. So what you've got to do, and when I started out in practice, and I'm 76, I started out and people would literally walk into my office with shoe boxes filled with receipts and say, do my tax return. And after I stopped laughing after about 10 minutes, I would tell them how much I was going to charge them, because it's a whole lot of work. And again, you're not asking the right questions because you're more concerned with details. And details are wonderful and are necessary on tax returns, but the idea is to save income taxes. I and anybody who understands this stuff can help you save income taxes when you're dealing with commercial real estate. Commercial real estate is one of the most wonderful tools right now for saving or deferring. We're not only talking about saving taxes, we're talking about deferring taxes, and we might defer them for years and years and years. But the point being that you got to go to somebody who knows what your goals are, knows how you're going to use that cash, knows what he or she has to do to help you get to the point where you need to be. I have a client whose tax return I am doing Monday, and they bought their first rental property in 2022. In fact, we closed on that property a year ago this week. And I told him that I will need property tax bills, anything that's going to give me the concept of the land versus the structure. Okay, because the land is not depreciable, the structure is. And then we're talking about the structure, and the structure is the building itself, but it isn't the cabinets, it isn't the microwave, and it isn't the dishwasher. So you have all sorts of different ways to take depreciation, and starting on 1/1/23, a month ago, you were allowed, before then, you were allowed to take up to $1 million of what was known as bonus depreciation on your tax return if you were a tax professional. If you were not a tax professional, your limit was $25,000. That's an aside. The point being that as of 1/1/23, that $1 million goes down to $800,000. And for 2024, it's 60%. And then it goes all the way down to zero for 2027. And my stopwatch stopped. So, Bob, where do we stand time-wise?
Well, we got a couple more minutes that we can plug into this puppy. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I try to keep the interviews down to 10 minutes. I call them snapshot interviews. Something I'd love to throw in at this point is, who is going to better understand commercial real estate than the guy that's managing the taxes of a company that is involved in commercial real estate? You know it, Paul. I mean,
but the problem is that somebody's going to go out there and buy a single family residence and rent it out. And then they're going to buy a second. And then if they use me as their realtor, they're going to go after a triplex or a duplex. And by the time you look at all of this, they've amassed commercial real estate and they didn't even know it.
So true.
And all of these things apply that may not have applied before they put all of this together.
That's why you're doing well at what you do. You're still involved in doing taxes, but more than just doing the taxes, it's also understanding the commercial real estate system, how it works.
There's one other word you forgot, and that is planning.
Oh, very true. Very true.
You have to do tax planning. When we bought that house for that client a year ago this week, I started tax planning for doing that tax return on Monday.
So true. And by the way, for the listening audience, I used to own a tax resolution company. And this is where, I got my degree in accounting. I decided not to become a CPA, but doesn't mean that I turned this off. It's still running. So the understanding of what Paul does more than anything else is the fact that this is a gentleman that knows what he is doing, because at the end of the day, it's really taxes that kill you. Right?
Let me add something. Number one, I am not a licensed CPA anymore. I am a licensed realtor, but I can consult and I can work with your CPA who probably doesn't know half of this stuff. Second, let me give you my name and my credentials again. My name is Paul Levine, Levine. My telephone number is 818-298-4000. Great number. Pizza Hut had it before me. My email address is plevinerealtor@gmail.com. If you have questions, and I don't care if you're a client or whatever, if you have a question, if you don't understand something that your tax preparer told you that he's doing and you want an explanation, I'll be glad to talk to you.
That's why I love working with this gentleman. We've worked together for several years now. The understanding of who he is and what he is more important than just seeing something on a sheet of paper. And what are you doing in social media? You're doing this, right? It's all
Well,
typing.
every morning, I write an article on at least 25 or 26 pages of Facebook and on a number of pages of LinkedIn, talking about investing in real estate, saving income tax dollars. Today, I talked about the fact that the Fed changed the prime rate effectively by 25 points. And I started the article with the Fed did this, and I said it's not Al Capone and it's not the FBI, it's the Fed. And I write about the economy. I write about things that affect people, the marketplace, why or how to value an apartment building or any type of real estate. And these are things that you've got to know, because you can't go in blind. You can't come to me and ask me to help you buy a piece of real estate and say, you choose it. It isn't my money. I'm not you. I don't know your innermost thoughts and your goals. I will try and learn them, but you're going to make the decisions. And that's where 6.5 years of being a university professor comes in, because I'm going to teach you everything you have to know.
You know, and what's interesting is I'm helping Paul with his social media, and he was writing these very lengthy articles. And by cutting down the articles now, you can now see all the people, the visibility of the articles. And that means a lot. You know, it's all about your visibility. That's the whole key to this whole process, is your visibility. So,
and just one last thing. There are guys out there, CPAs, who are advertising, come to me, you're going to pay no income tax. Stay as far away from these people as you can, because if they're telling you you're not going to pay any income tax, they're wrong. And they're going to do something that is going to get you in trouble. And you don't want to have the IRS down your back looking at every tax return you filed.
this is why I like this guy. This is why I like him, because I did tax resolution. You know, I was a tax preparer and all that stuff. And I love that market. It's a very interesting, dynamic market. But I think what I'm trying to impress here is this is a guy that you need to get in touch with. And even if you don't end up doing business, he's willing to confer with you, right?
There are only two things I ask. Number one, do not call me before 10 o'clock Pacific time, because I'm writing my articles and answering my emails. And number two, don't call me when Notre Dame football is on.
I love that. All right, so
that's high in the priority list.
We're at the end of this this interview. Great interview. Really helps people get over the bridge of lack of knowledge, right? That bridge of lack of knowledge is...
And bring everything. If you think it doesn't matter, you're wrong. Bring everything.
Bingo. All right. So for the listening audience, my name is Bob. My middle name is Holt, and my last name is Friedenthal, Friedenthal.
I don't have a middle name. My mother was cheap.
That's funny. That's funny. So if you would like to ask more questions, I'm available. And if you'd like to have an interview done by me, I've done over 200 of them in the last little over a year and a half. So
I will add that Bob is very easy to work with. Bob makes it comfortable for me. Having been a teacher for 6.5 years, I'll talk in front of any size group. And in fact, starting later this year, I will be traveling around the United States talking about saving money by use of commercial real estate. And Bob just makes it easy, and he knows what questions to ask that lead to the
I've
next
been in
point.
the internet for 30 years. I got started in the internet. I had a computer company. I got started on the internet when there was only 30 to 60 million people in the entire world. I told my business partner, this is going to be the next big thing in the world. This is where I'm going. So he gave me a year and a half, a year and 9 months to take over a massive amount of overhead. I tell everybody I pulled it off by the skin on my teeth. And I guess you would call me a social media addict. So, and you can reach me at bob@mycity.com. Phone number again, 310-736-5787. It's a mobile number. You can call or text me. And I own a website called mycity.com. So thank you so much for the interview. I'm interested in seeing what this looks like once we get it produced.
I think we went over 10 minutes.
Yeah, we did, but I think it was very, very worthwhile, So I'm signing us off. Thank you much.
Thank you.